There's something eerie about neighbors, isn't there? We share walls, streets, even moments of our lives with them. But how well do we really know the people living just a few feet away? Today, I'm taking you through 3 terrifying tales that prove that sometimes the person next door isn't who you think they are. These stories aren't just disturbing, they're true. So turn off the lights, lock your doors, and prepare yourself for 3 true neighbors horror stories. But hey, have you ever noticed how it's always the quiet ones that give you the creeps? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Story 1. The Basement Tenant. Our first story takes us to a small apartment complex where a young woman named Sarah thought she had found the perfect place to live. Quiet neighbors, friendly landlord. Everything seemed normal until she started hearing strange noises coming from the basement. At first, it was just a soft tapping, almost like someone was knocking. But over time, the noises grew louder, more erratic. One night, Sarah decided to investigate. With each step down the creaky stairs, the air grew colder. As she reached the basement door, her heart raced. She turned the knob, and that's when she saw it. A pair of eyes staring back at her from the darkness. Turns out, the landlord had been secretly renting the basement to someone else, without telling anyone. This hidden tenant had been living down there for months, watching Sarah through small holes drilled into her floorboards. By the time she found out, it was already too late. Now, before you think about checking your own basement, let's jump to the next story. But seriously, how many of us actually know who, or what, is living right beneath us? Story 2. The Perfect Neighbors. The second story revolves around a man named Tom. Tom moved into a new neighborhood, excited to start fresh. Everything seemed perfect. The neighbors were welcoming, especially the guy next door, Steve. Steve was always offering to help, bringing over meals, fixing things around the house. Everyone loved Steve. But Tom couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One evening, after Steve invited him over for dinner, Tom noticed something disturbing. Steve had a room in his house that was always locked, but when Tom accidentally stumbled upon it, he saw walls lined with photographs of all the neighbors. But none of them knew about these pictures. And in the center of the room was a map with pins marking every house on the block. His house had the most pins. The next day, Tom confronted Steve about it, but Steve just smiled and said, "I've been watching you all for a long time." Steve vanished the following week. The police found evidence in his house that suggested he wasn't who he claimed to be. But to this day, no one knows where he went. So next time your overly friendly neighbor offers to mow your lawn, maybe just say no thanks. Story 3. The Silent Street.